In the early morning hours of July 4th, like many of you, I received the call that none of us ever want to receive. The call delivering the tragic news of John's untimely death. Shortly after learning the news, we were overwhelmed by the outpouring of support from our fellow brothers and sisters and from our community at large. The list of those who have offered their support to honor the sacrifice that John has made is far too long to read and name in this venue. So I will simply say from the bottom of my heart to all of those who have offered your support to us, thank you. We absolutely would not have been able to navigate this tragedy without you. Like many of us in this room, Officer John Anderson always dreamed of being a police officer. It was all he wanted to be. And like many of us in this room, he wanted to do the job so he could help people and make a difference in his community. There is no question that John had a passion for what he did. And while he was taken from us too soon, there is no doubt that he gave his life doing something he absolutely loved. You know, at times, it can be a sobering feeling when the realities of being a police officer hit you. Realizing that you are the police officer responding to that 911 call of a fellow citizen who needs your help to resolve their personal crisis, or worse, that you were that police officer who was responding to a fellow officer screaming for help. In that moment, as police officers, we realize there is no one else to call for help. And it becomes immediately apparent that we are the last line of defense. When we are hit with that reality, there's never a moment of pause to consider bravery or heroism. There is no time to consider the risk or potential sacrifice. There is only time to remember our sworn oath to this community and the strong desire embedded in each of us to help one another. Knowing that we are the last line of defense, we charge into every situation, seeking to provide help without delay. Knowing that decisions made, oftentimes in split seconds, can be subject to months or years of criticism and speculation, we choose to carry the mission forward for the betterment of our society. Regardless of what adversity we may face, we finish the call. We resolve the emergency, and when finished, we eagerly check back in because we know there is someone else waiting for our help. And remarkably, when one of those blank checks that each police officer has signed with their hands raised high is cashed, we continue to pin the badge to our chest, come to work each day, and serve our communities with relentless pride and professionalism. We do not even for a moment falter on our oath because we know tomorrow we can make the world a better place. This knowledge is what exists at the core of every police officer and drives us to serve our fellow citizens every day. And it is certainly the kind of officer we knew John Anderson to be. You see, he realized that he was the last line of defense. Responding to help another officer with a citizen on the interstate, he knew the risks. Yet valiantly he charged forward. He did not hesitate. There was no time to consider bravery or heroism, only time to act with the servant's heart. And in the end, he fulfilled his duty to his community and his fellow officers. John 15:13 tells us, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." John's actions on that fateful night exemplify his love for his friends, his love for this community, and his passion for the job. As the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, I have the esteemed honor of coordinating the families of our fallen heroes. It is because of this that I can confidently tell you from learning from the family that John was a loving son, brother, boyfriend, father, and friend. And there is no doubt in my mind that this loss will leave a permanent void in all of our hearts. To the family, as I struggled to put this together and find the words, I quickly realized there are no words. No words can ever replace the love you have shared with John. No parent should ever have to bury their child, and no child should ever have to grow up without their father. While there are no words that can fully bring peace to this tragedy, I hope you can find some comfort in the fact that John was pursuing his passion. He died doing what he loved, and he will always be remembered by his family, his friends, and this community as a hero. To our community, Officer Anderson's sacrifice exemplifies the commitment that every officer has for you in this city. We stand ready each day to be the dividing line between good and evil, between safety and danger. And we are prepared to give our very lives in the service of our commitment to ensure Nashville's safety. With his life, John gave us a gift, one that we can never repay. Now, it is imperative that we never forget his sacrifice and that we always endeavor to settle the debt that can never be repaid. We must ensure that this sacrifice is not made in vain, and we must work together to reject negative narratives. We must foster an environment that recognizes the reality that we all face together, and we must remain committed to partnering to build a stronger and safer community. To my brothers and sisters who wear the badge, we must continue in the face of this adversity to stand resilient and remain courageously committed to the community we serve. We must mirror John's devotion and endeavor to develop long-lasting relationships that will remain long after our relevance has passed. And we must never, ever betray the sacrifice made by our brother by violating our sacred oath to the members of this community who have entrusted us to be their protectors. Always remember this. Officer John Anderson bravely served this community knowing he was the last line of defense. And just as John accepted the challenge to be the servant who at all hours of the night and day responded to cries for help or pleas for assistance, I challenge you to not forget John or those who have sacrificed before him. I challenge you to not forget that John was also a son, a brother, a father, and a friend. To not forget his family or his son in the weeks or years to come, and to always endeavor to serve this city with the same passion and commitment that our brother demonstrated. May God bring us peace as each one of us navigates this tragedy in our own way. May God bring the family peace as they grieve the loss of their loved one. And may Officer John Anderson rest in peace, knowing he died the hero he endeavored to be.